So my name is Kasia Rachfall, and I want to bring light to this conversation that has been top of mind for me and many other women that I have been in contact with and in touch with about it. So recently I turned 40 years old and entered this new decade of my life. Definitely had some freakouts about it, but worked through that and realized that I'm joining a league of women who are seeking in a very different way, who are finding themselves in a very different way, and who are feeling different in this 40th fourth decade of our life. And so, being the nerdy person that I am, I went online and researched what kind of advice is out there for women in my place who are entering their 40s. And I can tell you, 95% of the stuff I found was utter bullshit. It was just so horrible. Um, Surface crap that makes no difference to anyone, that I don't know why it's even published out there. And sometimes in very reputable places on the internet, blogs and articles and things like that. And basically it boiled down to, I'm just going to look at my notes here, boiled down to focusing our attention on things that don't really matter, like what to wear. Don't wear sparkly makeup, don't wear leggings in your 40s. Why would you even say that? Focusing on things that make us afraid, focusing on vanity and worrying about what others think. Because if the number on the calendar changes and it is now your 40th birthday, why wouldn't you wear a certain shade of eyeshadow or a certain sweater or a certain pair of pants? It makes no sense to me. It boggles the mind. And worrying about what others think. So the other big subsection of the advice I found was on managing the aches and pains that are now going to show up in the body because the date on the calendar has changed. And so instead of creating health, it's all focused on managing disease and aches and pains. And it lit a fire under my ass, and I really wanted to have this conversation because I think it's so important. Why all of a sudden do we have to focus on all this bullshit when there is so much more to life? No matter what age you are, there is always potential, there is always opportunity, there is always a choice that you can make and a decision you can make, and there's always a different direction that you can go. So at any age, but especially when you come to this decade, in your 40s, where your kids are more independent, you've probably got a career that's pretty established, right? You're financially stable, and it's a time to really thrive. Why the hell would you focus on stupid shit like the color of your eyeshadow, right? Or the leggings that you're not supposed to wear, or whatever that dumb piece of advice is? It just made me so riled up. It ruffled my feathers, and I want to start a different conversation. I want to know what is really important to women in their 40s, right? Because to me, I can tell you, it's things like, how do I thrive now? What does that even mean to me? What does being happy mean? How do I know if I'm happy or if I'm not, right? How do I grow as a person? How do I put myself more as number one in my own life, instead of taking care of all the other stuff that's in my life, but not to the detriment of the other stuff that's in my life, right? I want to know how to expand, how to really impact this earth because I'm here, instead of just running around trying to please everyone and trying to do the things that I should do. I want to know how to manage expectations, how to break beliefs, how to become a powerful person, right? And these are questions I've asked all along, and these are things I've wanted to know about, but especially now that I turned 40, I feel different. Yes, I do. It's amazing. And I want to know those answers even more. And I want to know if you, as a woman in her 40s or beyond, 50s, 60s, doesn't matter to me, as a woman in this what they supposedly call midlife, what do you want to know? What kind of conversation do you want to have, rather than the crap that is out there about style and fear and disease? There's more to this life than that stuff. And I want to know, what do you really want to know? So I'd love it if you're watching the replay, if you're on here live, post a comment, tag someone you know in here, because this is an important conversation, and this is a conversation that that can bring up fear, because it means we have to be vulnerable. It means we have to go inside and actually ask ourselves these questions. But without that, nothing's going to change, right? If nothing changes, nothing changes. And yes, that's a cliche, but it's true. So I want you to leave me a comment, tag someone who needs to hear this message, who wants to have this conversation, who needs to have this conversation, and let's put some good advice out there for women in their 40s, stuff that actually means something, that adds value to life, instead of putting us in fear and worry and all those states that aren't so good. So I look forward to this conversation continuing.